Okay. Hello, hello, hello. It seems that I am live. Um, yes. Okay, so I'm trying to track and see if I'm live. This is my first time doing a live with StreamYard in, I don't know, over a year, maybe almost two. So forgive me if I'm a little fresh to this. Thank you for joining. Again, I am Black Unicorn Vlogs. Welcome to the village. Excuse me. Happy to have you. I am sorry. Excuse me. Um, so in today's video, in today's live stream, I want to talk about basically what I did the first time Trump got elected and how I was able to move abroad, and then how to do it a second time around. And maybe it can help someone, maybe it can help you figure out if going abroad would be a good choice for you after this unusual election cycle that we've had. Um, we know that the inauguration won't happen until January, but we know that something's coming, right? They already started, right? So we know things are coming. I don't live in the US at all, and I haven't for 6 years. But I do have to come back to the States for work. Like I'm stateside right now because I'm here for a couple conferences that I have to attend. Um, and I'm going to talk about some of the ways that you can go abroad depending on your skill set that you have, right? Majority of the people who watch my channel are older, so meaning that you are in your 40s. I do have quite a bit of 30-year-old men that watch me, which is interesting. But you are an older group, so you're more seasoned, right? So it means you should have some work experience under your belt. In this particular live, I would like for you guys to be able to join me and talk. I'm still trying to figure out how to do it, y'all, because it's been a minute since I have been live on StreamYard, which allows me to be able to have people join me and really engage, right? And that's what I like to do today. StreamYard looks different than what it did when I used it last, which I can't even remember what year that was. It's been a while. But welcome, Janice. Welcome, Charlie. Welcome to whoever else who decides to join. If you're watching in the background, you're watching in the cut. We are all part of the village. So this is the Black Unicorn Village. You know what I'm saying? You see my Black Unicorn? Do you see my Black Unicorn that I have? Okay, girl. Stop it. You know you love it. Stop it. It's too cute. Um, but I'm happy to have you guys here. So let me look and see what you're saying though. Yes, honey. Janice, it's been a minute. Yes, girl. Thank you for coming to this live to support me. I do appreciate that. If you've been with me in the past, then you know that my story is different than most people. But I left the US in 2018. Trump's first, what do we call it? First stint as president started in 2017. So I left in 2018, a year after when he first started, governing or whatever. When I left, I was not prepared. I'm not going to lie to you. I was not prepared. I had some assets, but I wasn't able to touch them yet because they weren't vested. So I didn't even have a lot of money when I left and went to Germany. So, but I did it, right? I did it. And so what I want to talk about with you guys today is if you want to get out, there's nothing like the present. Every year you put off, every day you put off is another day that you won't go. There was a series of events that happened in my life that were pretty traumatic to me in the sense that led to me leaving the first time around. And initially, I couldn't understand why these things happened. I was so upset, all this. But in hindsight, best thing that could have happened to me. Because instead of sticking around trying to fight something in court and trying to do a whole bunch of extra bullshit, I decided that it would be better to take what I do have, pack up and leave. So I went to a country I had never been to before, a culture I knew nothing about. But what I did know is that they had a strong need for tech professionals and a strong startup scene. So I packed up and moved to Germany, right? While in Germany, I knew at that time that this wasn't really for me. And I wasn't that happy living in Germany at that time, but I did make a lot of good contacts. I wind up going to Ghana and then wind up staying in Ghana right before the pandemic happened. So I moved to one country I had never been to before, which was the first one was Germany. From that country, I jumped and moved to the second country I had never been to before. Well, I had been to and I had visited before I moved, which was Ghana. Best decision I ever made. Hard. It's hard. Don't let these YouTubers and these people on these social media platforms fool you. It is hard to move abroad, but it could be a life-changing decision. It could be something that could just completely change your entire lifestyle if you wanted to. I'm not one of these people that believe people should move because they're trying to heal from something or they're trying to run from something. Because at the end of the day, your problems will follow you. Your problems are going to go with you. You crackhead, you're going to be a crackhead. If you alcoholic, you're going to be an alcoholic. If you are a user and abuser, you're going to do all those things wherever else you go. You need to work on yourself now, wherever you're at. If you're in the stateside, work on yourself here before you go somewhere else, right? So this election for me, I don't know about anybody else, but this election for me was very, I think I got emotionally invested in this election, right? There's this woman who is identifying herself as Black. I do see her as Black because I am an American and the one drop rule applies, right? Period. The moment you step on our soil, you say you're an American, especially if you're born and bred here, one drop rule applies. So if you got a drop of Black blood, you Black to me. And everything else is irrelevant. Like, it's great. That's part of your identity, but you're still Black, right? So to me, I saw her as a Black woman and a highly qualified one, but everyone else didn't see that. There are some things about this election that really bothered me. And I'm not going to get all political on you guys, but the part that bothered me the most about this election is how they are ignoring these fools running across the border and then coming to Chicago. I have a condo. I'm looking at getting rid of this condo. Oh, by the way, he got elected. This go on the market, getting rid of it. So I am looking right now. I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking out the window. I can see the lake from my condo. My walk to the lake is probably 7 minutes, 10 max if I'm walking slow. You know what I mean? Like really close. I'm saying that for a reason. There was an empty building or a building that was being repurposed for something else. Instead of allowing that building to be repurposed for what it was supposed to be repurposed for, which was, I think it was like, what do they call the housing they have for older people, like the retirees? I think it's called like senior housing or something. Instead of doing that, they decided to give it to these people running across the border. Not just giving them housing, but giving them housing, giving them money to buy food, to buy clothes, giving them housing, apartments or houses over there on the south side and the west side. But this came at a cost to those of us who were considered residents of Chicago. Because if you need any type of resource, you couldn't get it. Like, guys, I'm not really good with resources because I have been blessed, but let's say unemployment. You got laid off from your job and you need unemployment. Your unemployment is supposed to last for a year in Cook County. Instead, it was lasting for just a few months. And then people were told, oh, sorry, you can't get it because we ran out of money. They ran out of money because they're giving the money to all these people that ran across the border. And why am I talking about it like that? Because that's a big issue for people who would never have voted for Trump to switch sides. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not making excuses on Trump being president because I know that is about to come with the fire. The fire, fire. That's coming with the fire, baby. That's coming with the fire. Because who getting slave text messages? Y'all see that? Girl, as soon as I figure out how to share my screen on this thing, I think I'm gonna have to pull one or two of these little slave messages. People getting slave messages talking about congratulations, you've been selected to be an executive slave. I should not laugh at this. But it's so distasteful and so bizarre that you can't do anything to laugh about it, because you're wondering, how did everyone or so many people simultaneously in select states get this particular message? And whether you're a house slave or what kind of slave, the fact that they said that you've been selected to be a slave and they only send this out to Black people, it should make you think and wonder, how did they get the data to know who was actually Black? Who considers themselves African or African American? That would dictate you being a Black person in America. Because if you don't live here and you've ever been here for work or a job or school, you had to fill out an application. America's the only place that I know of in the world that does this, and maybe other places, but I only know it here. And I've lived on 4 continents now. Yeah, I lived on 4 different continents now. I lived in China, Germany, Ghana, US, right? And I'm not even talking about the places that I visited, but I'm talking about the places I actually lived. The US is the only place that I saw where they ask for race details, not just sex, but your race, right? But y'all should be thinking about, for me, I'm always thinking about where they get the data from. I'm in tech, right? And like, I have a very unique specialty in this field. So sometimes I just be sitting here like, how did you get access to that data? Because it means that you're buying the data from a company like right here, YouTube, or you're buying the data from the actual phone companies themselves. Every time that you sign up for an account on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, they're connected to your phone number. Your phone number is connected to your legal name, address, and sex, race, all that's put in the details. And you have to, I ask myself all the time, why do they need that? Why do you need this for me to be able to go to a university or go to elementary school? Why do you need this for me to be able to get a job? Right? Like, what does that matter? But here, everything is predicated on race because, the country was built on genocide and slavery, right? So everything is built on race here. And when you think about that, though, you need to think, if you're not thinking, think about the fact that, hey, y'all, hey, everybody who joined me, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining my live. But y'all know I'm about to preach, honey. I got some thoughts, right? But you need to think about where they're getting the data from and how was it that they were able to simultaneously send out, congratulations, you're a slave now, messages to only Black people, right? To me, this is not racist white people doing this because they're not sophisticated enough in the head to be able to accomplish this task. They just not. But Elon Musk is, right? But he really doesn't have enough engineers at Twitter to be able to do this. To me, this is so like nation state type shit. Like the Russians, like they're really good at the technical aspects, I put it that way. Hacking, all these different things. They're really good at it, right? So you can do this easily to try to cause division and strife within a country. This is a good way to start. But there are things that them folks are starting to do, and they are going to continue to do it. We saw what happened under Trump's first presidency, how emboldened people were getting with the things they said, how they acted, and how they were just so blatantly racist about things. Now, we're used to dealing with systematic racism, and we're used to dealing with things that are that would make other people completely uncomfortable or give up or, just sit back and cower. But we are Black Americans. Honey, we went from being, colored, Negro, or was it Negro first and colored later? I can't even remember. But we went from being a Negro to colored to Afro-American to African-American, Black. We've been Black since we got here, right? These terms, Black, white, were all created in order to separate us and subject us to servitude, right? So, as Black Americans, we have been through so much, past and present, that you could try to slave us again if you want to, but good God, Lord have mercy on your soul of what will happen. Because there's so many of us locked, loaded, and ready. We're just ready, but there's not enough of us here. And I think that the one thing that this election should have pointed out to everybody is that they are not on our side. Other people are not on our side. They are not trying to lock arms and work together and do things. They have zero interest in that. Zero interest. You know what I mean? If you are white adjacent, then therefore you feel like you belong in that category until they remind you that you are not. So why am I doing this video today? I wanted to do this live today to talk to those of you who are interested in moving, to talk to those of you who are curious about how to do it. I would tell you that the number one thing that you need to do now, if you have not already done it, which I hope you've done it before because you've actually been traveling, is get a passport and get your passport expedited so that you can get it as quickly as possible. People with means, people who are considered rich here or considered upper middle class, have already put plans in place to be able to move around quickly to other places. I say this to you because, to me, in this environment that's coming, it's important to have residency, property, and legal status in other places, right? Because it just will help you with your peace of mind. At least I feel that way, right? I believe in having multiple residencies and multiple citizenships. Citizenships aren't just given out like candy. So unless you're higher up, upper middle class, where you are damn near rich and you can buy a passport in some of these places, like let's say Malta. Malta is, if you don't know where Malta is, I don't know how to pull things up on this thing because I'm not used to using StreamYard, but you can look it up. It's in Europe. Malta lets you pay like $600,000 and you get a passport. That means you get EU citizenship. You get a citizenship to Malta, and then you get EU kind of like, I shouldn't say EU citizenship because you can only get citizenship to a specific country. So you get citizenship to Malta because you're doing their golden ticket type thing. You get the golden passport, which gives you the same rights as Europeans to move freely within the European Union, work in any of the European Union states, live in any of the European states, and have free travel in the European states. The status that I have in Europe right now with Germany allows me to do all these things, right? Including buy property, like get a mortgage to buy property, not just anybody can buy property cash out, right? But most people don't have that kind of money. And even if you do, you might not want to do it that way. So it's possible 100% to go to Africa, but be mindful. Ghana is a wonderful place. I love it. I would tell everybody to go to Ghana. Ghana's expensive, like mad expensive compared to other parts of Africa. Like, I think that's something that people don't recognize and realize, that if you're coming to Ghana, you better have your money up. You better have your money up. Like, yo, I'm not playing with you. Your money better be up, because you may think because right now it's 17 to 1. $1 gets you 17 CDs, and you'd be like, damn, I'm rich in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm rich. Nah. Number one, a Bruni tax, everything. You're getting it. Automatic. You can say you don't get a Bruni tax, girl. Bye. Everybody getting a Bruni tax. Only way you're not getting a Bruni tax is if your spouse, who would have to be a Ghanaian, is doing everything, and your spouse is you have a legitimate marriage and not some crazy thing that's happening, right? But then you go somewhere like, I'm going back to East Africa pretty soon because I have some work I have to do there. Kenya. Kenya's so much cheaper than Ghana. And it's crazy. You would think it's so much more expensive because it's, let's say, Nairobi. Nairobi is this international city. Everyone in the world knows about it. There are so many different internationals there. There's so many different international businesses there. But it's still somehow cheaper to live there than to live in Ghana. what is happening? I have to say to myself, what is happening right now? Ghana is in this flux when it comes to its economy. But I would 100% move to Ghana again. I love Ghana. It is my home, right? I'm there frequently. I'll be back in December, but it's like, it's a hard place to live. Internet. Girl, internet in Ghana is more expensive than internet here in Chicago or internet in Munich, Germany. Like a month, unlimited internet. How is that possible? But that's what it is. And it's unnecessary because you can be in other parts of West Africa having the same internet that's going to be more reliable and paying way less money with the same carrier. These are so many things that people don't think about, but you need to think about that. Where will your money go where you can stretch it the most, right? Because if you haven't already been to an African country or a Caribbean country or a European country or Asian country, whatever you've been thinking about, I can only speak to Ghana and Germany because these are the places I myself immigrated to and have legal status to be there and have freedom of movement and things that other people will take more time to get. And so let me go into a bit of detail about that. If you are a skilled worker, this is very specific to Germany right now because they have a deep lack in their labor force. So, and this may be true for some other countries, but I can specifically say to Germany because I know how this works there. If you are someone that is in a high needs area, that they're looking for because they don't have enough people in their country to fill these roles, nurses. Now, there's a caveat there because you got to learn the language. I'm going to talk about the ones you have to learn the language first. Nurses, electricians, bus drivers, train drivers, construction workers, teachers. Oh, teachers, every level of teacher, right? Every level. Researcher, meaning that you are coming out of undergrad and you want to pursue a PhD. This can be true for a master's too. And you apply to be a research fellow and you get that position. Heavy need for that. Like I've turned down a lot of things that most people would not want to turn down. Like my husband says things to me like, you are so lucky with the way that you're able to move around and get these jobs and have all these offers. This isn't luck. Let me tell you something. This is a focus on research and knowing my shit, putting time in to get the skills, to obtain the knowledge, and to do the work. This is experience, grind, focus, and hustle. This ain't no luck. This is because I know my ish, honey. In my field, I don't got time for you. Okay? I don't got time for the nonsense. Sorry. So I'm just flowing. Let me go back and look and then I'll come back to what I was saying. Thank you everybody for joining. I appreciate you guys for being here. For those of you who are engaged in the chat, thank you. Yasmin, girl, is that you, girl? Girl, is that you, girl? You be changing your name on me. You know you be confusing me when you do that, girl. So what's up, boo? I see it. Okay, so she says they're just trying to scare people. Can I show this on the screen? Oh, look at that. Y'all can show stuff on the screen. Okay. It's been a minute since I used a little screen, y'all, child. Okay, so they're just trying to scare people. I ain't showing up no anywhere, right? Okay. Yeah, they definitely trying to scare people with the whole slave text messages and all that nonsense. No, please get out of here. Those of you who joined who are sitting in the cut, you're watching in the village, you're watching in them streets, welcome to Black Unicorn Vlogs. As you can see, my Black Unicorn is here representing, okay? Welcome everyone. Oh, yeah, girl. I knew it was you, girl. I knew it was you. Okay. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. I am happy that she's here. Okay, so hello, Raw Realty and everyone else who's joining. Thank you for joining today. Yes, girl. Yeah, Janet. Yes, child. That is ridiculous. But in Malta, I think Portugal had a golden visa program like this as well, where you bought like you paid like 300,000 for like a piece of property, and then they gave you citizenship to Portugal because it got so popular, and all they had all these digital nomads there because they had a digital nomad visa, and they had this really large acceptance of crypto and usage. It just destroyed the market for the local people, and they kind of went in on that. And the government said, okay, we're not going to do this anymore. We'll offer it a different way where you can still get citizenship in Portugal, but now you have to invest in a business. I can't remember how much it is. I think it's something like 400, 500,000. Invest in a specific type of business with a Portuguese partner in order to qualify. Like, they made it more complicated, right? But the regular people like me and you can easily go to Africa, right? Because I've done it, and I've helped other people do it, so I know it's doable. But I feel like Ghana is a beautiful place to go to. I think every Black person who is not African, like, I mean, born and raised in Africa, because we're all of African descent, but every Black person who's not African should go to Ghana. And they should go to Ghana because, one, you will experience African culture, Ghanaian culture specifically, but you'll call it African culture if you're coming out here from the West. You'll experience in a way that will make you feel welcomed. It will make you feel accepted, and it will make you feel like, okay, this continent, this country, I'm a part of them. They are me, I am them, right? This is great when you visit, right? But it has gotten very saturated with foolishness is the best way I can put it. So many things have changed so many things have gotten so ridiculously expensive. I don't even know what to say about it anymore. People trying to get a residency permit for like 1 year. This is not the same as your visa that you get prior to going to Ghana. Because in order to go to Ghana, Ghana is one of these African countries that require you to have a visa. A visa is not a credit card. A visa is an entry document that allows you to enter into a country for a specified amount of time. So in Ghana, you can get a 2-week visa, tourist visa, or you can get a visa for 30 days, or you can get a visa for a year, 5 years, whatever you want. It just depends on how much you want to pay. Just be mindful with Ghana's visa, they're going to ask you for a bunch of stuff you don't need. Like, they might say, we need someone to verify that you're going to come there, or to document that you're going to come there, or be your sponsor. This is some old requirements that they don't even use anymore. So don't worry about if you see that on the visa application. Just fill out your visa application, put down where you're going to stay, because you have to have somewhere booked where you're going to stay, whether it's an Airbnb or a hotel. Hotel is always easiest. Put down that information, give them your personal details, pay the money, submit everything to get your visa. But what I'm talking about is different. Your residence permit used to be about, when I got my residence permit the first time, it was so cheap. It was like, I think it was like 50 Ghana CDs or something like that, or 100 Ghana CDs. It was something that was like, it's super affordable, right? And then it went up slowly, started going up. But now, let's say 5 years later, it is 500 US dollars. They're not even quoting people in CDs anymore. That's like 8,000 CDs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to check what the exchange rate is today. That's like 8,000 CDs. 8,000 CDs? Girl, that's like somebody's salary for like 4 months. Okay. I was shocked. I recently learned about that, and I was just so confused because I'm just like, I don't have to get residency permits anymore. So I didn't know how expensive it got, how they added this like medical. So if you want to go to Ghana, you're going to have to be mindful of this. A lot of this information you can find online through the different Ghanaian websites that they have. set up through the ministry, I think it's the Ministry of Interior, that tells you how to stay in Ghana legally. I'm a person that believes in going to people's countries and staying legally. I don't do illegal stays. I also don't do things called visa runs where you're jumping to one country to the next to get a stamp. I don't understand this concept. I've never had to do it, right? So this when people talk about this, I don't know what they're talking about because I've never been in that situation. Never. So it's very interesting. Welcome everybody. Sorry, I'm taking a minute to stop for a second to just see who else joined. Thank you guys for joining. Welcome everyone who has jumped in. I love my black male unicorns. What's up, Orlandis? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You know, I have a lot of male. Majority of my followers are men, so I love y'all. Right? Yeah, but this is for everybody, right? This is just universal. The things I'm talking about would be relevant to any African country that requires Americans to have a visa. Why am I speaking to Americans? I'm speaking to Americans because they are 95% of my viewership, and that they would be the people that would be interested in going. I would say for those of you who've never lived abroad, literally, you've never lived abroad. You may have traveled once or twice, but you've never lived abroad. My first advice to you is book your flight to wherever you want to go. If it's Ghana, book your flight to Ghana. If it's too expensive to go in December, because that's when everybody goes and all the events are happening, Daddy December, all that stuff is happening, it's very expensive. Wait till January. You know what I'm saying? Get those days off and go for a minimum of 2 weeks. Go to Ghana. You don't need a tour group to go on a trip. But if you need a tour group, find one, right? I personally wouldn't go on a tour trip because that's not how I travel. But other people, the way for them to get out of their comfort zone and to try something new, they have to be part of a group. Do it. Take a trip. Do not up and try to move to any country without seeing it first. That works for less than 1% of people. And I'm part of that 1% because I don't think the way other people think. I don't harbor fear the way other people do. And I have been living abroad since 2005. And even before that, as a child in the 80s, I lived in Spain with my mother, right? So it's like, we've done a lot of travel. Like, as soon as she got her divorce, she was like, we out, right? You know what I'm saying? Crazy. Absolutely crazy, right? So my mindset and how I move and what I do is different. So I don't want you to look at me and say, because she did it, I can do it too. That might be possible, right? Think about the people that you see on these social media streets. Like, it could be Instagram, it could be YouTube, it could be TikTok. I've been looking at a lot of TikTok lately because I, just finally really discovered the app. I'm late, I know it. But when you look at it, everyone is making it seem like it's so simple to move abroad and start building, okay? Or so simple to move abroad and buy land. The way they do business is night and day from how we do business here. Night and day. It is everything that you think is right is going to be left for them, and vice versa. Our culture here in the West, in the US, is going to be so different to them that they're not going to understand why you want a receipt for everything, for instance. Let's put that out there. Or why you're such in a rush. Where Americans will come somewhere regardless of race. You're coming somewhere and if you're paying money, you want it documented that you paid your money. You want a receipt for everything. Or I have this money, I want this done now. Here, take all my money and complete it for me within 6 months. And they'll say, sure. Yes, madam. Yes, madam. You'll say to them, can you do it? Can you do it? They'll be like, okay. Yes, madam. I can do it. I can do it. Yes, madam. I can do it. I can do the tiles. I can do the masonry. I can do the roof. I can do the windows. I can do the carpentry. I can do everything. No one here a plumber. Girl. y'all be playing. Y'all be playing, okay? So Um, it is so best if you're thinking about going somewhere to book a ticket and take a trip. And if you're not sure how to book a ticket and take a trip, literally go on booking.com. Booking.com has been my best friend. I don't like Airbnbs in Africa. Let me tell you why. Because they're hit or miss. They can be pure shit or they can be absolutely fabulous. Everything in between, crapshoot. And you don't want to get to a foreign country where you don't speak the language or know the area and have to rush and try to find another Airbnb. I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me, and it is terrifying each and every time. So I have kind of stopped using Airbnbs. Every so often, I will book one if I can't stay in a hotel that I want to stay in, or if the hotel prices are outrageous, and I'll just take the chance. But if this is your first time going to Africa, whether it's Ghana, Nigeria, the Gambia, Tanzania, Kenya, even South Africa. I don't know why you would go to South Africa if you try to leave the States, but whatever you're trying to do, right? I personally would say book a hotel that you've heard of before. Like for me, when I go to new places, like this is what I did when I first went to Ghana, my first trip to Ghana, I booked my hotel at the Marriott. And I booked my hotel at the Marriott. Some of you already know this story. I booked my hotel in the Marriott because I know that chain. And I know if I go to a Marriott, um, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be safe. Everybody's worried about their safety everywhere they go, right? And so that's the number one thing Americans are worried about. Am I going to be safe here? Yeah. So if you're used to staying at the Hyatt or the Hilton, book one of them. You're used to staying at the Marriott, book one of them. If you're adventurous and you're willing to book a local hotel, book it. It's fine because I found the local hotels to be very nice once I knew what they were, and who were running them and how they work and operate it when you go there. Majority of them are extremely safe as well, right? They have mass security everywhere. They ain't not letting everybody in. It's it's good. But I would say book that trip and take that trip. And you're taking this trip as a tourist, so you're seeing all the things, you're eating different food, but you also need to be looking at this place as, can I stay here? Can I live here? Because living in a place and visiting a place are totally different. They are so different that I don't even know how to explain how that works. Guys, if you're in the live, I'd appreciate if you like it. I think I have like 2 likes. Like, come on now. Like your girl don't be on the lives on a regular basis, right? So I'm here this time. Y'all can at least give me a little like. I mean, damn. Like what is happening for real, for real? I mean, can I get at least 1 like, 2 likes, 3 likes? Like what's good? I want to invite you guys to come in. So let me see if anybody wants to come in who has a question about travel. Or something like that. This is a link. You can join that link and you're able to, you should be able to come into the chat, I think. Girl, I don't really know how it works. I think that's how it works though. Let's see. Again, I told you guys, I haven't been using this in a while. So I am trying to figure out how StreamYard works again. While I'm on this live. Someone asked, why not South Africa? Because white people run South Africa. You have the same institutionalized systematic racism in South Africa that you have in the US, except for it goes by a different name. Now, as a Black American, you will be treated with white privilege, to be perfectly honest. They are going to treat you differently, especially the more money you have and the more money that you're spending. So you could have a totally different experience. I've been to South Africa and I said I will never go to South Africa again. Like, to me, I don't like how they treat the indigenous people, right? The original people of South Africa. I think it's bizarre that South Africans who are Black will call themselves colored and then call a family member Black, and how they differentiate themselves. For us in America, colored is an extremely derogatory term. South Africans got colored, apartheid, all these things from our Jim Crow and turned it into something psychotic over there called apartheid, right? Yes, it's gone, but the remnants are still there. So if you want to deal with the same type of foolishness that happens here, go there and have at it. Elon Musk is a South African. His daddy was a big player in apartheid. And so he's over here getting ready to unleash hell. Oh, they are definitely gonna come with it. If y'all didn't know, they gonna come with it. So yeah, for me, I would never pump up South Africa, but there are a lot of Americans that love going to South Africa and love living in South Africa. I've known plenty over the years that have moved there and been in Durban or Johannesburg and love it. They don't got no issues. I think that because I went there so close after apartheid ended, and I saw how people were treated, how they act, and then I see that that has not changed much over the past few decades. No, thank you. You can have your little place. That's nice. I'll go to Zimbabwe, Botswana, one of the other countries that are neighboring in Southern Africa, but South Africa, not for me. So you're not going to hear me pumping this place up. Sorry, I just can't. And I know they might try to come for me, but I know your country, sweetie. Been there, done that. If you come for me, you better get ready because I know all the history of this place because somehow I wind up focusing on this for undergrad. So it's like a thing. So anyway, let's see. Okay, so Raw Reality says I did some checking on yesterday, and there are a few African countries that will give diaspora citizenships if you prove that your lineage goes back to that country. Yeah, there are definitely places that are doing that. I don't know what the requirements are for that. In particular, your financial requirements for that, and how that actually works. I suggest you guys find out because I don't know. I haven't done that and I don't plan on doing that. I know that, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so okay, so if you're looking to go abroad, one, make sure you have your passport. Two, make sure you plan the time you want to go. Try to book a trip within the next 4 months. I know the holidays are coming up, but that's no excuse because we are in a dire situation right now. So if you're trying to go, try to go at the beginning of the year before March, right? Or April, somewhere around that time frame. January and February are going to be the cheapest times to go pretty much anywhere. So that's a good time to try to take a couple of days off from work and go, or use your unused vacation or banked vacation days or your PTO, whatever you have to do to go scout to see where you can actually live and how much things are. Talk to your cab drivers, your Uber drivers. Do not boo up with them. Do not be trying to get down with them. Y'all be nasty sometimes. I need y'all to stop being like nasty. Just be like cool with them and ask them questions because they see a lot and they will share information with you. You know what I mean? And not saying that your Uber driver, your taxi driver is going to give you the best advice. No. But what I am saying is that they'll give you some idea of what's happening with the economy there because they all love to talk about the economy and their leaders. That'll give you some idea of what's happening. Second, start looking at real estate, whether you're trying to buy something that's already completed or you're trying to buy land. There's plenty of real estate companies online or on social media that you can find to take you around. Anybody who's trying to pressure you to pay for that place, that land, that condo, whatever, that house immediately, or you have to buy it now, or you have to pay for it in the next 2 months, or you have to do it before you leave, that's a red flag to get the hell out of Dodge. Okay, they on some foolishness, right? And you can take time to check companies to see who's a viable company and who's not, right? We are in 2024. There are going to be companies that are established that are working with people that have solely an online presence and not a physical presence. There's nothing wrong with that if you can verify that they are an actual real company, right? It doesn't mean you have to go with one person or one organization or one agent, but look at some different pieces of land in different areas or different properties in different areas and do some price comparison. If you have the ability to see more than one country at a time, um, I don't know them having this in West Africa because I've never seen it. But in East Africa, they have the East African visa. You can get that East African visa, and I don't know if it tells you on the website, but it lets you go into Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania. Yeah, those four. It lets you go into those four countries. And that's one visa that you apply for all online, and it lets you be able to do it. I would say if you do this, apply for it in Kenya because Kenya has their e visa, which I found. Kenya or Tanzania, they both have an e visa that's extremely easy to apply for online and get it so that when you do you get a printout, you can print it out. I print out everything when I'm traveling like that because you just have to, right? Because you never know if the internet gonna work. So you print it out and you have your visa with you when you get to the port of entry. So let's say you go into Nairobi first. You're flying from DC to Kenya. You get to Kenya, you get to Nairobi. What they're going to do is that they're going to ask you for your visa and your passport. You give it to them. They're going to ask you for the purpose of your travel. You're a tourist. You're here to visit. They're going to be very friendly, tell you something cute in their language. They're going to say something, teach you a word, which is great. Then they're going to decide how long your visa's for. Some people only get their visas for 2 weeks. I don't know how I did it. I was chatting with this guy because I was just like so curious about things. He gave me a year-long visa. So I have a year-long multi-country visa for East Africa, right? And it's up to them to determine how long they're going to give it to you for. But the point I'm making about this, and I don't know if you can do this in West Africa because I have never heard of the ability to get a West African visa that connects like Nigeria, Benin, Cameroon, Ghana, or like Liberia or Sierra Leone or Cote d'Ivoire, whatever, one of these countries together. All of them require separate visas, which to me is a headache. But to other people, they're okay with that, right? So if you're trying to get out of the States, number one thing to do, get your passport. 2, book your ticket. 3, get your visa. Or let me put it this way, passport, get your visa, then book your ticket. Then book your places to stay, right? That's just everyone's going to do it a little bit differently, but these are the things you would have to do. Do not move somewhere. Do not move somewhere without visiting. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to repeat that. Do not move somewhere without visiting. I have seen people do this and be so upset, and they bring their anger back on the person or the people that helped them move because they weren't prepared for the difference in culture. They weren't prepared for the difference in amenities and infrastructure. You're coming to Africa, baby. Okay. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The roads, I don't care what part of Africa you in, them roads is crazy. And Kenya is the most developed place I've seen, in Nairobi specifically. And you can even be in Kenya and go to parts of Kenya where those roads are going to be just like dirt roads, just like you're going to find in Ghana and other places, right? Ghana has doomsor. Ghana has extreme doomsor. Ghana's had doomsor for the past 3 years, and they be trying to lie, act like they don't have it. This doomsor is when your lights go off sporadically. Like, depending on where you're at. Like in Waja, your lights just go out hours, sometimes even days at a time. Like if you've never experienced that, let me tell you, it sucks. It sucks of epic proportions, especially if you make your money virtually or online, not virtually, but online. So you have to be online in order to work. Like say YouTube ain't paying me jack squat, but say YouTube was paying me. If they were paying me, I would have to be able to upload on a consistent basis in order for me to make money, right? And I do need to do that because YouTube invited me to be part of a boot camp that I'm part of now. And they're like, we want you to get back here. We want you to, and they're teaching me things. So look at me, here I am, right? But I'm not a person that makes money from YouTube, but I am a person that makes money online because I work remotely, right? So that's the next thing you have to think of. How will you make money if you're not a retiree? If you're not ready to retire early, or you're not at retirement age, or you're not a veteran collecting some kind of money from the government based on your service to the country, how are you going to make money? Because if you're under 50, let me just tell you right now, or under 45, especially if you are someone in your 30s, you're in your prime of your career. Do you want to give it all up? And I say this to you the best way possible because I thought I could do that. And I went over to Ghana in my 40s, right? So it's like I thought I could do that. I thought I could give up my career, and I just couldn't do it. Whether I have a business or two or not, I just didn't have the passion for it the way I do for the technology work that I do, right? The engineering work that I do. So it's hard. You have to really decide what you're going to do because you have to make money. When I say if you go to Ghana, your money better be up. I'm not bullshitting you. Your money better be up. I hate when someone's there calling me, especially when I'm in Ghana, asking me if they could come stay with me. Or, they don't have a place to go. Can they sleep on my couch? Hell no. I've dealt with enough freeloading ass family members that I ain't never letting nobody else stay with me. If I didn't give birth to you, or my husband didn't give birth to you, you know what I'm saying? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And there's too many people going broke over there of all ages and all sexes. So there's a problem with people going there and their money be a little bit too funny. You need to have your money up and stop effing around and finding out once you get there. Okay. Um, but this makes it good for those of you who are wanting to go, because if you want to go, it's a great time. And I'm just saying Africa in general right now, because you can do this in any of the countries, right? You can go there, visit, start looking at properties, including land, because I'm a big proponent of having land in multiple countries, but having land, period, and building. But if you don't want to do that and you want to just buy something, you still need to go there and see how much does it cost, right? And how much does it cost? How long? What options do I have to pay for it? What securities do I have to know that I can keep it? Things like that. Do you have property taxes? If not, what fees do I have to pay? Like in Ghana, you will have like when you start building, you'll have like a digging fee depending on where you're at, but most people will charge you some kind of digging fee if you're a foreigner. And then the chief or the family you brought the land from expects you to pay, it's a name for it, I forgot it, but expects you to pay a yearly like fee, right, to them, which is typically written out in your indenture what you're going to pay for it. But this is expected, right? And this is a formality because this is how the culture is in Ghana. Now, this will be different for the culture in, let's say, um, Tanzania, right? You go to Zanzibar, there's a completely different culture there and how they do things when it comes to buying land and what things you have to take care of on a yearly basis. These are things you have to find out, and you can find this out on a scouting trip if you just take that one trip there and don't just be, oh, I'm going to party the whole time, and be a grown up and figure out how can I do this and get to the next level, right? So I have to blow my nose. So if you would excuse me for just a moment while I go get some tissue, because I gotta blow my nose. Sorry. Okay. Thanks you guys for being patient with me. I had to find my box of tissues. So I found my tissues. All done. I blew my nose. Um, I have so much I kind of want to share. Maybe I should just make smaller videos. But I am gonna talk just a little bit more before I go off. I didn't even realize I was on here for a whole hour. If anybody's interested in joining, you can go ahead and join. Somebody remind me what I was talking about because I forgot. But I see a COAS here. A COAS doesn't have a universal like West African visa that allows you to visit multiple countries while you're in West Africa, like East Africa does. Where a COAS is good if you have citizenship, then you're good. Like you have citizenship and you have a COAS passport, you can go to these different countries with your passport. No one's going to ask you for a visa. But if you're an American and you don't have that, then you have to get a visa for each one of these countries you go into. I can't remember there's a couple countries in Africa. I haven't been to any of them yet that are visa free for Americans. I've been to, I think, 10 or 11 African countries, but they are all of the ones I went to required me to have a visa because I'm an American. Okay. Welcome everybody who came. I appreciate you guys all being here. I'm looking at multiple screens because I'm trying to read comments, and I'm just trying to see myself as well. So you'll see me looking around. If you want to join, you're welcome to join. I do know that Africa has been going through load shedding, which at least they give you all a schedule, right? At least in South Africa, they tell people when the lights are going to be going off, right? And they have this fancy term called load shedding. You know what I mean? Who they got that from? Girl, doomsday. It's basically the same thing, but in Ghana, but they're not telling you when anything's going off unless you live in one of the bougie areas like Continents or East Legon or somewhere that's stupid expensive, right? And not where normal people live, but where the Abronis are, and all the other foreigners who want to waste money or whose companies are paying for them to be able to live there, right? But the rest of us don't have that luxury. And I know you're going to say, "Oh, well, you should have solar. You should do this. You should do that." First of all, if there are so many issues with this right now, though, but if you have your own property that you finish building and you added solar to it because you can afford it because it's super expensive, then great. If you're renting, then you likely can't do that. If you built your house a while back and didn't get it and don't want to get it now because it's too expensive, I can completely understand. Yeah. Yeah. So you know what? When you go to Africa, and this might be the same for some other countries that are considered developing countries, right? You definitely find. I know the Mexican friends that I have told me about this. Let me tell you something. Mexicans, if you're abroad, you're always going to meet them. I always meet a Mexican. There's always at least one Mexican, male or female, always one that I meet. I'm cool with Mexicans, and Mexicans are cool with me. I don't got no beef or issue with them. I feel like they're a lot different than some of the other Latinos, right? So for me, there's no issues because Mexicans remind me of the Chinese or Nigerians. They're everywhere. Everywhere you go in the world, you're going to meet at least one. I have never been anywhere that I have never met at least one Mexican and one Nigerian and one Chinese person. Always. Like clockwork. And it's funny because we travel. You know what I mean? They travel. We don't really travel. It's rare for me to meet other Black Americans, but they travel. And I just think that they're great people to connect with if you're in a place where there's few people like you or few Americans, right? And some of them are there because they'll help give you the lowdown, right? But that's just my little, that's my little thing. So is there any questions you want to know about or anything that you might be curious about? Because I don't come on live too often. So I was just wondering if there's something that you all were curious about or wanted to talk to me about. and we can chat. If you want to join, you are welcome to join. You definitely don't have to, but you're welcome to if you want to. Um, Yeah, so I'm not going to jump into any of the Ghanaian politics. I don't feel it's my place to jump into it. So yeah, so there's some things that's being said in the live that I'm not really going to address because I just don't feel comfortable doing that. But there is some issues happening, in my personal opinion, in Ghana, and it's been happening for a few years. This isn't something that just all of a sudden came out of the blue, right? So like America, a decision will have to be made, right? Okay, so Raw Realty said Senegal and Morocco are two of the countries that are visa free for Americans. Oh my God, I didn't know Senegal was visa free. And that's one of my places on my list to go next. Very nice. I'm gonna have to check that out. They're visa free. The only thing is that Morocco is run by their Arabs. Okay. I've been to Morocco as a kid, so Morocco's nice to me. I had a good experience. Because my mom's best friend was a Moroccan Muslim woman, and her family was amazing. So I just have all these great memories, like being there as a child. So welcome, welcome everyone who has joined the live. Please make sure to like the live for me. I appreciate you all coming back to the Black Unicorn Village. As you can see behind me, we are in the village of the Black Unicorns, honey, and it is time to unite if ever before. America has shown us how they feel about us and what they see of us. And that can be seen in the election results broken down by race and gender. So maybe there might be choices to be made. But I think it's really important for you all to remember and understand that living abroad is not going to be for everyone. Some of you will be able to do it. Some of you will not. But I will say that if you're interested in still continuing to work in your field, that I live in Germany right now. So where I live in Germany right now, and Germany as a whole has, and I think I was talking about this earlier, but I cut off. But they're looking for nurses, electricians, construction people, bus drivers, train drivers, every type of engineer you can think of, technologists you can think of. These are people that work with any type of technology, research assistants, research fellows. Um, just people with skill sets that helps a country develop and build. Oh snap! I meant move my camera. I did not mean to do that. That build and develop, right? So they have changed their law as well. So they allow you to now have dual citizenship. Before you couldn't do that. The wait to get it though is crazy backed up because everybody's trying to get it who's been there long enough. Um, in a place like Germany, I am considered a highly skilled migrant. And because of that, I jumped directly to permanent residency instead of going through like the blue card and all these other things, which I've had in the past. And that's great. Blue card is like the best visa you can get as a skilled worker. Excuse me, as a skilled worker. Um, but you can apply for citizenship after 3 years now because they all these laws are brand new, like they just went into place in 2024. So if they keep things the way they are, the next couple years will be the same, although there are federal elections coming up next year for the Germans, and it might be even sooner because there's some political things they have going on as well. But I'm telling you this because it gives you the option to move abroad. Um, but this is a predominantly white country. But as a Black American, you're treated differently. You're treated just like you would, just like they would treat another European. Africans are treated bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. They treated pretty damn bad until they are maybe married into a family or there long enough to establish themselves career wise. It's better when they're at work, but our day to day is not going to be easy, but they endure, right? We're not treated like that as Black Americans because we are American first. Like, I've never even heard the term Black American until I started traveling to Africa. No one calls me that outside of Africa, right? So, yeah. I talk about Germany because there might be other places in Europe that does this too, but Germany has the easiest process for Americans to be able to go over there to live and work. And I'm talking about easy. You can get a job right now from the States. Go on LinkedIn, update your profile, make sure all your work history is right, and create a resume. Put your picture on the resume. Look up how to create a German resume because they have their pictures on their resume, and start applying for jobs. People will interview you now, especially if you're in technology, especially interview you for jobs. Just be mindful, whatever you're making here, you're not going to make there because their salaries are lower. Depending on where, let me put it this way. I don't want to give up too much information, right, about my personal life, but let me say this. If you're working in a technology field, that could be cybersecurity, it could be observability, which is my field. It could be AI. It could be quantum computing. If you're working in one of these particular fields that are extremely sought after skill sets that very few people have, and let's say you have certifying credentials to follow it, or you're highly degreed up like I am, um, you may take a salary cut. Um, but the quality of life, the standard of living, and the cost of things will equal out. So if you're used to making $200,000 a year in the US, you might only make $150,000 a year in Germany, right? If you're used to making $80,000 a year in the US, then you might only make $65,000 a year in Germany. But it equals out with the quality of life, the guaranteed 30 days vacation plus all the holidays, and they have a ton of holidays, okay? Including Christmas, all these religious holidays. They're a very Christian country. Um, it's different. Work-life balance is amazing. Okay, amazing. They do not play games. When it's time to sign off, it's time to sign off. They're like, excuse me, boss, but it is 4:50. My day ends at 5, so I'm done talking. And they'll be like, okay, no problem. We'll just regroup on Monday. It's Wednesday. Like, I love it. It's amazing. And quite a few jobs are remote, right? Especially tech jobs. But they won't tell you it's remote until you get to the final stages of your interview process, and then they'll tell you it's remote. So the reason why I know so much about this, because the huge company I work for is hiring at least another 300 engineers in the next 2 years. So now going for 2 more years. Child. If there was never a time, now is the time. Okay. So, yeah. So, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I think it will help people to understand how to move forward. And it's okay to take a salary cut that's like 50 grand or 20 grand because it evens out based on the cost of living. Food here in the States is extremely high. Extremely high. Matter of fact, let me say something. Food in Germany at the grocery store is cheaper than buying food at the grocery store in Ghana. Now, if you go to the Ghana markets, that's a little bit different because you're shopping and eating what the locals eat. Even that's getting way too expensive. But their grocery stores are outrageously high. Germany, healthy food without all these weird ass ingredients in it. And it's good. But that's just me. I'm just telling you what I did and what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Because I believe in having multiple citizenships. 2, I believe in having multiple residencies. 3, I believe in having properties in multiple countries. And I can't be bound down and dependent on the US. I am a true American. I love my country, but I'm not stupid. I know my country does not love me. So therefore, I shall spread my wings, right? I shall spread my wings. So that was a lot. That is a lot. So, yeah. So, guys, like, let me see if I missed any questions. I think I said hello to everyone. Thank you guys for joining me. Everyone in the cut, everyone in the chat. Thank you. Welcome to the Black Unicorn Village. We're making it do what it do. You feel me? So, yeah. So, like, I'm just glad that you guys were all able to join me. Let me stop talking for a quick second and look at this. I need to blow my nose, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. Apologize for that. Um, Yes, I'm a firm believer in having multiple passports if you can and when you can. It's not always easy. It's very complicated. It can be difficult, but it's totally worth having and doing. Oh, okay. Somebody's going to join me. What do you want? Okay. Come on, Raw Realty. Welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you.
Yeah, I remember you from the first show you did on the the Landscape channel.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, it's been a minute since I was on with Lance. So, yeah, that's what's up.
yeah, yeah. The funny part about that show that got me was when you were chasing that whatever it was, a spider that you saw. You totally freak out. That had me that that had me laughing for had me laughing for like a good minute throughout that whole show.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad that you got a good giggle from it and that you were able to join us. So, what do you want to talk about today?
Okay. Basically, what I just wanted to ask is, well, maybe I might have a few things to ask. Um, do they require cybersecurity professionals over there in Africa? Is there like a heavy need for them?
Absolutely. And Ghana has the need, but it's important to understand that if you're going over to Africa, it's better for you to start your own business and partner with organizations or companies to get clients than trying to get a job. Getting a
Mhm.
job in Africa with an African country, a company, excuse me, is going to be challenging because I don't know where you live right now, but if you live in the States, the work ethic is going to be different and the salaries are going to be so low that it might not meet your standard of living for you to be able
Yeah.
to live the way you're used to.
Okay. Yeah. 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 I'm here in the I'm here in the states and everything.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. All right. All right. Because I'm kind of like in a class right now studying cybersecurity. Um.
It's good.
Yeah, I want to kind of try and try to see if I could utilize that to help, so that way I could help make myself a make myself a living
Do you have a
when I start to travel
specialty?
abroad.
Do you have a specialty in the security area that you are focused on yet?
No, 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 no. It's kind of like a boot camp that I'm in right now.
Hmm.
It's kind of like a boot camp. So I'm just starting now. We haven't gotten like into the heavy part yet, but a couple of things that they were showing, like different areas of cybersecurity. One of the things that I know they talked about was threat intelligence.
Yeah.
Um, was about threat intelligence. I'm kind of interested in that. And
Hmm.
another thing they were talking about is like governance and governance and compliance. There's like a couple of areas there that I'm kind of interested in terms of the cybersecurity part.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. So, another question just want to ask is, what are some of the best airlines to take to go to Africa? Because there's very few airlines that have like direct flights to Africa. You have to, like, if you're trying to get to like any like a lot of the different countries, you have to either like go through like Europe,
Yeah.
or if you do get a direct flight to Africa, you have to go through like Morocco or Kenya or someone in some other places. But what
Hmm.
are like some of the best airlines that you recommend for taking to Africa?
What area or what state are you in?
I'm in Georgia.
Georgia, so the Atlanta airport. There should, I thought Delta had direct flights from Atlanta to Accra. I know that Delta and United have direct flights, but they are only direct from certain cities, certain airports. So Dulles Airport in DC for United has a direct flight from
Mhm.
Dulles Airport in DC to Accra. So like when I flew United, I had to go from Chicago to Dulles to Accra. So I still had to transfer, right? So depending on where you are, you would have to transfer. I am not sure. The only reason why I think it's Atlanta that has a straight flight to Accra is because that's Delta's like hub, right? That's
Yeah,
like where they're
yeah,
headquartered.
yeah,
You would
yeah.
have
Definitely
to check.
supported in Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that the two American airlines that go direct to Accra are those two. I do know that for me personally, I don't like being detoured to places that have crazy long layovers. I
Hmm.
find that if I am flying from Germany or if I'm flying from Chicago, I prefer to fly with Air France, and that's simply because they used to. I don't know if they still do, but they used to have the best rates, right, to go abroad, depending on the time of year. So, and they would let me cancel my ticket if I couldn't make the flight and rebook again without losing money. But you would have to transfer in Paris or in Amsterdam. I don't like Amsterdam's airport at all, so I prefer not to fly KLM. So I fly Air France and have maybe a 4 or 5 hour layover in France. But I also book business class, so I have access to the lounge. That's just me.
Hmm.
But I've flown United before, and that was okay flight. It wasn't bad. But there's those are the only two, United and Delta are the only two I know that fly out of the states, both out of the East Coast to across. So no matter where you are, you tend to have to transfer somewhere stateside before going directly to Accra. I don't know if you're looking for flights going to other parts of Africa. I'm not really an expert on those because I don't fly to those areas that often. When I go to East Africa, I tend to fly with Ethiopian Air um, uh, because I like them, and sometimes Kenya Air because I can get a flight out of New York to
Hmm.
Nairobi.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. I know. I've been to Africa like a few times, and the way that I go is like through I've been doing it like well, recently the recent visits I had, I've been kind of doing it through JFK,
Hmm.
and I was basically trying to see if there was like other airlines that I could use. I don't really want to go back and use Delta because I had an incident with them last year that they costed
Yeah.
me some money, and they didn't want
Hmm.
to. They costed me some money, and I don't really want to patronize them too much anymore.
Yeah.
So I was trying to seek out like other alternatives, and because the airline that I kind of used the last couple of times was Ro- was Royal Air Morocco, because they go from
Okay.
JFK to Casablanca, and
Hmm.
then from Casablanca you can go to the other places in the continent. Now
Nice.
I remember that now there was an airline called Air Senegal. They had
Mhm.
a direct flight from JFK to the car. They used to have a direct flight from JFK to the car, and I say used to because um, earlier this year, back in August, they sent an announcement saying that they're stopping all their flights from JFK to Senegal, and that's
Mhm.
because after doing some research, I found out that the reason they're stopping their flights is because they owe somebody some money. Yeah, they owe somebody some money.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is all good information for all of us to know because I did not
Mhm.
know that. I personally don't
Yeah.
fly Delta because I don't think they know how to act. So I agree with you on Delta. But either way it goes, we can still get to the continent. It just might take us a little while to get there, but we can definitely
Mhm.
get there. As
Okay. All right.
for cybersecurity, though, I would recommend to you while you're going through the beginning stages of cybersecurity right now, as you start going through your boot camp and actually start working with some of the tools and start understanding some of the type of career paths you can take, you should probably look into cloud security, in particular, cloud native cybersecurity. Because that is a growing area that requires a lot of expertise
Okay.
that very few people have. And
Okay.
if you want to know more, you can visit the CNCF, or Cloud Native Computing Foundation, and find out more about that, because there's a whole industry around this that there's a great demand. And there's very few of us in it. So
Okay. Okay. All right then. All right then. All right then. That's good. That's good. That's good. Now, another question just wanted to ask is, say if somebody doesn't really want to, if if they don't want to go to Africa, but they want to stay in the Western Hemisphere,
mhm,
but not in America.
mhm.
What are there like countries that you could recommend to people who want to stay like on the Western Hemisphere but don't want to stay in America by chance?
I mean, yeah, like you can go to the Caribbean, right? There's a ton of different islands. You can go to Barbados, you can go to Jamaica, you can go to Turks and Caicos. There is another Saint Martinique, and there's another one that a friend of mine lived in for some years. I cannot think of the name of it right now. It's a Dutch island. Um,
Curacao, Bonaire.
oh no, Saint no
Oh,
Saint Martin,
Saint
Saint
Martin.
Martin.
Saint
Yes,
Martin.
yes, yes. There's two of them. There's one that's like a British one, but I'm talking about the Dutch one. So yeah, there's options there for sure, right? And that is a like black mecca, right? You're going to be surrounded by folks that look like you. So that is definitely option. Of course, there's options also in Latin America, right? There's plenty of black people in a lot of those countries like Colombia, El Salvador. That is just not for me, right? But other people find, and even Mexico, other people find great happiness in these places, and talk
Mhm.
about it all the time on YouTube and other places. It's just not somewhere that I was interested in going to, because I wanted to actually be on the continent, and I wanted to be close to my field in a area where it's still growing, right? And that in Germany allows me to do that.
Okay. All right then. All right then. All right then. Now,
Mhm.
another question just want to ask is, say if somebody's married to like an African national, can they get the citizenship through their spouse, or would it have to be it would have to go through like some other process?
Technically, you can get it through your spouse. Technically, that's how it used to work. I don't know how it works anymore in Ghana, because there's a lot been going on in Ghana, but technically, that's the law. That's definitely how it works.
Okay. Okay. All right then. All right then. All right then. Okay. All right then. That's kind of basically some of the questions that I had. If anybody else is wanting to join in, they can. But thanks very much, and we appreciate everything that you're doing, and just keep as my mother said, just keep up the good work, because we really need it, and it's coming up this time. And if you're over here in America, all I just gotta say is um just just be prepared. um have your plans in place, and just keep your head on the swivel, keep your head on the swivel, because um it's no ifs ands or buts though, that the civil war is going to it's getting ready to restart again. The
It's
civil war is
definitely,
going to get ready to restart again, and this time it's not going to stay on the eastern side of the US. It's going to be all over.
oh
It's gonna
Lord.
be all over. Yeah, if you saw the movie, the last Purge movie, the Forever Purge, you get an idea of what it's gonna be like.
Oh, we're
And
going to purge. Okay. Damn.
yeah,
Lord.
yeah. And they also came out with a movie earlier this year called Civil War as well too.
I know they did. They did.
Yeah,
They did.
yeah, yeah. So they done. Let's just say it's predictive programming. So okay,
Mm. Well, thank
yeah.
you so much for joining me and asking such great questions. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay. All right then. You're welcome. Then you're welcome.
Bye. Okay, guys. Well, I'm appreciative that Raw Realty came on to join, to ask questions, to engage. Like, I really like that. It makes the life so much better for me. I have been talking a lot. I gave a lot of information. Hopefully, some of you will take these nuggets and run with them, because I believe you should always have a plan B and C, right? You should have a plan, right? Oh, and just so that you know, you could take your parents with you, of course, to if you have older parents, or people that are dependent on you, you can take them with you to Africa if you have the money. If you're trying to go to Germany or somewhere else, I'm just talking about Germany because I know their process. As a highly skilled migrant and as a student doing like a PhD or a master's, you can take your parents with you as well. to the country that you go to, and they'll have legal status there just like you do. So that is just a tip. Your spouse also will have legal status just like you do. So just putting it out there, because everyone needs options, honey. Everyone needs options. So I did look at all the questions. I am thankful for you guys for participating, coming, showing up, making my Saturday, lovely. But yeah, so just be on the lookout for the videos that I try to post. And y'all know I have been struggling to put out content because your girl been living real life, doing real things, right? And this is more like a hobby, or more like just informative to share information with people. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Keep your head up, get your passport, make your plans, and take a visit somewhere. Just be brave. Take a visit somewhere and then see what possibilities lay in front of you as time goes on. All right, guys. Bye. Thanks.